All right, guys, bench pressing for muscle building. This video is the advanced tips. And advanced, not really meaning that you need an advanced degree to understand them, meaning that hopefully you've watched video 1 and video 2 and feel like you've at least got that, not, whatever there is to comprehend and understand, but also feel like you're performing those things proficiently. Because I think, as you're more beginner and intermediate, basic positioning is one of the most important things that you can do. So make sure that you've mastered that as well first. Make sure you put your body in a position where muscles have the best advantage to work. And then some more advanced things are some things that maybe are some internal focus, maybe some concepts to focus on as well too. And so that's the point of this video. And so again, if you guys haven't seen this is a very highly specialized piece of equipment. I call it a broomstick. This is an anabolic broomstick because I'm demoing it for muscle building, but I'm going to use this to kind of demo some of the things I'm talking about and use in the previous videos as well too. So the first concept that I want to convey for you guys, and this is a huge thing that even at the advanced level I see people messing up, is don't waste the opportunity of what your warm-up sets are for. So yes, there's a physical thing occurring that literally you need muscles to contract to get body, muscles ready to have big output or bigger contractions as you get to working sets. So there is a physiological prep component, but none of that is separate from what your brain is doing. So by taking this time, 1, to make sure your body is prepared, but 2, practice. Use this as drills. I always say if bodybuilding or building muscle is your sport, then there's no practice time for a lot of people. Basically, they just get in and they just try and hit PRs every single time. Your warm-up set should be your practice time. You should have mindful thoughts and goals during your warm-up sets every time. So a lot of these things I'm telling you to do right now, people feel like I don't want to have to waste time focusing on form and the squeezy stuff. I just want to get in and hit PRs. And that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not getting progressively stronger over time, keeping form and stuff uniform, you are wasting your time. But if you're not actively trying to get better, aside from just the numbers you're writing on paper, then you're also wasting time there as well too. So that's the best way to not have to go into the gym and just practice and not train hard and not try and hit PRs. Use your warm-up sets for that purpose. So one of the biggest things that I'll give here for whenever you're rehearsing for almost any movement, but in this case for the bench press, is pause at end ranges. Most people mess up at end ranges. And so end ranges, meaning on the bench press, 1, it's not hard to see people that, if you're just dropping your eccentrics, so don't drop your eccentrics, but you see so many people basically drop and they just have a collision and bounce. So they're not using the muscles as they lower it, and they're literally colliding off of their ribs, bouncing it just to get that first. So they're not controlling 18 inches on the way down. They're bouncing the first 3 inches just to get that bar up. And then maybe they're finding some muscles the part way through. So, end ranges are a big place for people to mess up on every exercise, especially bench press. So when you're lowering it, if the goal is to actually use your pecs as much as possible, see if you can actually pause it. So 1, pause, make sure that you're using muscles, not momentum. You're using muscles, not a collision. And then from the bottom there too, it gives you a minute to think about, am I actually using my pecs? Am I actually contracting my pecs to start the motion? When you come to the end of the motion, did I actually contract my pecs to finish the motion? So again, if you control the end ranges, most of the time it's pretty hard to mess up the middle, right? So if you pause here and think, all right, contract pecs as hard as I can, you're very unlikely to lose the pecs in the middle. And especially if you ask yourself to finish, like, oh, do I feel my pecs contracting hard here to finish? Then odds are you had them going from start to finish. And it also gives you an opportunity. I finished my concentric, and now am I using my pecs to lower it as you actively row that bar into you as well too. So again, by having those pauses, at least during your warm-up sets, I'm not saying you need pauses every single time during your working sets, you're rehearsing and you're ingraining things that are going to be very helpful. So a step further than that, to give you guys some useful tools, there's a couple ways to go about this. I say practice doing isometrics at the beginning and the end of the reps, meaning take an empty bar or a broomstick, and I'll show you a way you could even do it just without it, but come into the bottom and actually practice, can I contract my pecs? So can I actually squeeze my pecs hard? Do some isometrics, literally just contracting your pecs hard, not letting that bar move, and then go finish to the top. And then when you're at the top, do the same thing. Can I contract my pecs hard? Hold it and squeeze it. And that by doing that, you're rehearsing, making sure that your pecs are actually doing work in those positions. Little added drill I always say you can do on this one, especially when you're at the top and the elbows locked straight, is you can feel like you're trying to slide your hands together on the bar. So again, if I was just relaxing and contracting my pecs, this would actually happen. But if you got a barbell in your hands, feel like you're driving them that way and just squeeze your pecs hard in, and again, feel like you're trying to slide on that bar. So it's just some little drills or rehearsals, nothing magical about that. I'm not going to say that in and of itself is going to build muscle, but very good drills and very good tools to actually practice. Okay, are my pecs contracting? Great, I can feel it. And then go up to the top. Are my pecs contracting? Great, I can feel it. And again, you can do that for 1 rep, 2 reps, whatever it is. Your very first warm-up set with the bar, you're doing pauses, contract here, squeeze for 3 to 5 seconds, come to the finish, isometric here for 3 to 5 seconds. And it's just going to ingrain some good habits that hopefully will help carry over when you actually get into your working sets. And lastly, once you've started and done all that, hopefully you've got your body in a good position. You know where things are supposed to be at. You really feel like you're initiating and going with the pecs. You want to keep your last rep or last reps looking like your first rep. That's probably the best thing that I can say to summarize the overall goal of form outside of all the things that I just said. So you're lowering it, you're contracting as hard as you can up to the top, and you're keeping your last reps and the first reps very similar. Because again, if the most common thing, I'll see people that I feel like they get pretty good form and everything looks great, and as soon as they get to those last reps, that's when they start to bounce, that's when they start to squirm around, stuff starts to move, they start to use other muscles, and everything goes out the window. And one thing that the entire muscle building community nicely seems to agree upon right now is it's the reps that are closest to that failure point. So whether you train to failure or you train 1 or 2 reps short of failure, whatever it is that matches your goal right now, it's those last reps that actually create an environment internally that is needed to actually grow and develop muscle. So again, if your form gets the worst on those most important reps, that arguably could be a big thing that's preventing you from producing good results. So when you actually get to those points where it is more painful, it is harder, your body tells you want to freak out, you practice using your muscles as much as you can, keeping them the exact same as the 4 first reps and not letting things deviate. And again, that can be a great opportunity to film yourself. See how the first reps look, see how the last reps look, and realize there's a direction you're going. It doesn't mean, okay, my form has to be perfect. If you film and say, okay, well, there's an area for improvement. Area for improvement means an improvement for development as well too, potentially down the road. So hopefully watching these 3 videos, you've got a pretty good idea of how to set up, how to perform, and maybe some more advanced things to think about. And then of course, put that all into the typical bodybuilding stuff that you need to do. Track things, logbook things, progress things over time, make sure that you're recovering out of the gym, make sure you're consistent with whatever split you choose. And if you have any questions about this entire series, don't hesitate to get down below in the comments section. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these brief, so if there's some little nuance that I missed here or there, a question you have, get down there. I'll do my best to answer all of them. And please do that YouTube thing for me. Like, subscribe, share, tell some friends, tell your mom, get her bench press numbers up because they're pretty embarrassing. And until the next one, guys, enjoy.